Hello everyone, today we are bringing you an explanation of the vocabulary for RCSA version 10. First of all, starting from later this year, the version 10 exams will gradually begin, and by the end of the year, this version will be fully implemented. So moving forward, we will be providing you with the latest version, which is the version 10 question bank explanation, including 24E. First of all, today we are bringing you the latest question bank content for RCSA. As before, and similar to version 9 million, the first question is, of course, about changing the IP. It's definitely related to modifying the IP. So next, let's take a look at the latest solution for our server A. To begin with, the first question for server A is about this topic. Network configuration actually is the same as before. On server A, the main tasks are some basic configurations and simple service edits, while on server B, it's more about disk-related management. Now, let's take a look at the first question for server A in this section, which is about network configuration. To start with, for server A, the main focus of network configuration is actually just this. What do we need to modify? Just like we explained before, it's about changing our IP, gateway, DNS, and so on. As for the hostname, you can also change it using the appropriate command. Of course, if it has already been modified, then you do not need to change it again. For this 18th exam, for server A by default, if the main page here already shows server A, then there is actually no need to modify it. However, there is one thing to pay attention to in this first question. There's an extra step here, which is about our SSH issue. Because first of all, as we all know, when we work on these problems, we actually use SSH to connect remotely, right? Whether you're practicing or taking the exam, it's all done through SSH. Now on server A, after we change the IP address, if your IP changes, the gateway changes, and all these settings are different, then first of all, what do we need to do? We need to restart our network. This is something to pay attention to. You must restart the network, or you can activate the network card. Either way works. After restarting, if you find that SSH cannot connect, then you might encounter a certain problem. This is an issue that may occur with our new version. There is a problem with the remote SSH configuration. So what do you need to do here? It's best, after changing the IP, to check the SSH configuration to see whether it allows us to log in as the root user. Remotely, because as everyone knows, our server A is actually managed entirely through the root account, so remote access is also done via root. So what do we need to do here? We need to change the permit root login setting in our configuration file to yes, and also set password authentication and other password authentication options to yes as well. After making these changes, just restart our service. Alright, that's basically it. This is the content for our first question. So the main tasks are modifying the IP, reconfiguring the network, and checking SSH. These are the main points for our first question. Alright, next, let's actually walk through the process together and see if there are any major differences in this first question compared to before. In reality, the changes aren't particularly significant. Basically, we just need to check the SSH configuration here, and that's about it. Next, let's take a look at this part together. The current version being used is already running on the 6.12 kernel. Since our EL10 is already on the 6.x kernel, there have actually been some updates compared to before. Next, let's take a look at the first question of our A section. First of all, what do you need to check here in section A? You need to check or just take a look at our host name. So, what name is it? It's the network interface name. The simplest way to check the network interface name is to use the connection command and then show to view it directly. Here we can see our first one, 1233, which is our current network interface. Of course, this network interface name may not be the same for everyone, so you need to determine and select it based on your actual situation. So, for our command, we just use this information to continue writing. To modify the IP, after NSI connection, we add modify. When modifying, we append our network interface name, followed by our IPv4 address. As for the address, you just need to write it according to the requirements of the question. The specific value here isn't really that important. What it is doesn't matter much. Just write it according to the requirements of the question. You must follow the requirements of the question exactly. Adding or missing even a single character could cause problems. Next is our gateway. Actually, this part is the same as in previous versions. No matter which version it is, the question about changing the IP won't change. This question is unlikely to be modified significantly. Our gateway is 250.254. Next, we also have our DNS. So overall, there really isn't much change here. Nothing significant has changed. When it comes to modifying the IP, actually, everyone, please check whether this IP is correct, okay? Because first of all, it's just a matter of a few numbers, just the numbers. Here, the gateway is the same as DS1, the gateway is the same as S1. After making all these changes, we can just save directly, just press enter. After returning, we start the network card as usual, or you can also activate the network card. After connection up, add our 1233. After activation is successful, there won't be any problems. This is our first step, the first operation. As for the second operation, actually, we need to check something. We need to check this. It's an issue with ESH, so next, let's go ahead and edit it. As for the SH configuration file, after going into RHCSA config, you'll see that most of it is commented out. So scroll down to look for what? Look for the section about permit root login. If you have trouble finding it, like here, my file is a bit large and it's not easy to locate, then you can just use the search function. Just use the search function. For example, we can search for permit. Memorize the word. Oh, okay, let's see where it is located. Here. Permit root login. Right? You can uncomment this and then just delete what's after it. Just delete it directly. You don't need that. Just change it to yes, and that's fine. Okay, this is to allow registered users to log in remotely. All right, next, there's also password authentication, which is further down. For this, we can search for it. Password authentication, yes, it's here. Found it. Actually, searching is a bit faster here. Although the file isn't very big, scrolling up and down isn't as quick as searching. So here, we find password authentication, yes. Then you can save and exit. After exiting, just restart our service. After restarting the service here, we can officially use remote access. Remote access will now work properly. This is the configuration we need to modify, the configuration that needs to be changed. Of course, first of all, during the exam, what can you do? You can directly use our external page to log in to what? Not the web page, but for our software, it's the host page, From the main page, you can directly click on our server A, right? Then configure it inside. After configuring, enable SSH. Here, it's like I'm directly inside the shell now. Normally, when you're working on it for the first question, if you find that you can't use SSH, you can just go directly into the virtual machine to make the changes. After you finish modifying and enable SSH, for the following questions, you can use our host to connect remotely. This way, it will actually be more convenient for you, because if you connect remotely through SSH, you can copy some content, but if you operate directly on the virtual machine, we can't do that. Since the content you need to copy for the later questions is actually quite long, and it's easy to make mistakes, if you write everything manually, there might be some issues. Well, maybe some people, this is just one of our points. This is the content of our first question. So this is our first question. I will continue to explain other questions for everyone later on. If you want to get the complete set of questions, you can send me a private message in the comments section or just leave a comment. You can discuss or just message me directly. Either way is fine. All right, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.